It is not in the least bit uncommon for the police to make malicious stops of a vehicle simply as a means to punish the driver. They will then further it with a malicious search by virtue of that hackneyed phrase of spiteful cops everywhere. I can smell cannabis. Thereby justifying a search under Section 23 of the Misuse of Drugs Act. In this case, however, it appears one of the cops gets a nudge from his microscopic conscience as he dares to justify what he knows from the outset is a groundless search. He admits that he could be wrong and that the smell of cannabis may have emanated from a passing vehicle. What's more likely is that his super-sensitive snout was overwhelmed by the smell of bullshit emanating from his own mouth. Of course, the moment a driver protests that they've been maliciously stopped, they will be countered with the police's runner-up catchphrase of, "I've never met you before," which is true. And although the driver is unlikely to have ever met the police officer before, we all know what a bastard looks like and should therefore be on guard. The police and their excusers are quick to dismiss the notion that a cop who has been the subject of a complaint could then enlist the help of other random cops across his force, who he's probably never even met, to repeatedly harass a driver, who they wouldn't even recognise, just for the satisfaction of one vindictive officer. But give a man a fish and he eats for a day. But give a policeman an automatic number plate recognition database and he'll feast on it for years, maliciously entering the plates of any driver he's taken issue with, knowing that whenever they steer into view of a police vehicle equipped with one, they'll be stopped again and again and again.
I know, but I'm just saying, and I've had complaints in. I've had a complaint in as well.
You've had a what? You've got a complaint in?
Yeah, with the officers. Because they pulled me for no reason.
We've never dealt with you before.
I know, I just don't understand why I've been pulled over.
Okay, mate, listen to me here. You've been stopped under the Road Traffic Act, haven't you?
Yeah, I understand that. I understand.
Okay, and when you stop under the Road Traffic Act, you're under a requirement to provide your name and address.
Yeah, I understand. That's fair enough, officer. That's fair enough.
Okay, and what's your name? Alan, your date of birth,
the 14th of the 1st, 1994. But can I just ask why I've been pulled over?
Obstructive, mate.
I'm not being obstructive, mate.
Okay, mate. Initially, when we pulled alongside you, then, yeah,
you've
gone into reverse, mate, as if. And how
I never went into reverse, mate.
Listen to me. How it appeared to me was that you were going to reverse off then.
I weren't going to reverse off, officer.
Okay, do you understand that?
You're being intimidating.
I don't think so, mate.
Anthony, what's your date of birth?
The 14th of the 1st, 1994.
14th of the
1st, 1994.
And the way it appeared to me is look as if you were making off. Okay,
why would they make off, officer? I've been driving for 5 years, officer.
What's that, sorry?
I've been driving for 5 years.
You've been driving for 5 years?
Yeah, I've been driving for 5 years, so why would they make off, officer?
I don't know, mate, I've never met you before.
I'm not going to drive off.
Hey.
This is why I'd be called police, because this is what you intimidate me all the time.
Can't hear you, mate.
You do us a favour, mate, you can smell cannabis, okay?
Oh.
In light of that, mate, you're going to be searching the Misuse of Drugs Act.
Fair enough.
Okay, I mean, it's the same for the purpose of the search, entitled to a copy of stop form should you want one.
I don't even smoke,
mate,
officer.
I can smell cannabis. So trying to obstruct me by filming me and asking irrelevant questions. Would you do me a favour, mate?
I'll step out,
cause any obstruction, just jump out the car, mate.
Fair enough,
okay.
Officer. Make sure we record.
Con Taylor, basically OCC and speak. It's a favour, mate, you're more than happy to film me, but you're putting your camera up on there. Okay, face me. Do you have any drugs on you?
No,
any cannabis?
I don't think so.
Have you been around anyone who has?
No. I'm on medication, that's all I'm on.
Well, it's turned for the purpose of the search, alright?
Face me, aren't
It's the reason being it smells of cannabis,
Michaela, are they searching you?
Same reason, Section 23 of the Misuse of Drugs Act, alright?
I don't smoke, I don't drink.
We just got a whiff of cannabis there, mate.
That's strange, because I don't drink, officer.
What?
I don't drink.
It might have been a passing car, but we don't know that just yet, do we? You know what I mean? It could have been a passing car, but unfortunately at the time it smelled of cannabis. So your car's getting searched as well, alright?
I'm sure the officers who made this stop recognise immediately that the data stored against this plate was code for stop this driver and harass him, but it'll be cryptically hidden within a seemingly official statement. And this is precisely how the police get away with abusing their powers. Not by standing in the light, willfully violating the law, although they do that also, but by abusing legitimate systems in such a way that they always have a ready excuse handy whenever they're pulled into question. This is harassment, plain and simple. So what can you do about it? Well, I told the driver to make a subject access request to the force to find out why he's been placed on the ANPR, considering he has a clean licence and he's never been arrested or prosecuted for any drug offence. Knowing the police, they'll say the reason he's being pulled over is because he's been pulled over before, which to any reasonable person is excessive and disproportionate to any legitimate policing function, unless that function is to find whatever petty fault they can with the vehicle they've stopped and issue the driver with a ticket for no other reason except because he dared to make a complaint. If this is all seeming like deja vu, that's because I've already uploaded 2 earlier videos about the same driver's interaction with Merseyside police. In the first video, the officers took offence to him filming and began acting like spoiled children. In the second video, a senior officer excused his colleague's behaviour and attempted to dispose of the complaint on the phone in breach of official complaint regulations. But prior to this latest stop, I advised the driver to submit the same complaint in writing and insist Merseyside police provide him with an official record of that complaint as they're obliged to do so. Guess what? The police refused to accept the complaint because it wasn't on the right paper. Yes, according to Merseyside, you're only allowed to submit complaints under their chosen format or via their website form, a form which asks for personal data you don't need to provide. For a police complaint to be recorded, all you need to supply is your name and email address. You don't need to give your home address, date of birth or place of birth, especially as all these details would be entered onto police records and stored indefinitely, as well as potentially being entered maliciously onto ANPR databases, so the officer can punish you a lot harder for making the complaint than he would ever be punished as the subject of the complaint. So what about the IOPC? Surely they'll step in and prevent these type of shenanigans. It is, after all, their job to ensure that the police record complaints when they're received in writing. Surely they wouldn't allow Merseyside police to intentionally obstruct a complainant like this, would they?
Good afternoon, IOPC. John speaking. Please can I take your name?
Hello, mate. What it is I submitted the complaint to Merseyside Police, and it was in like a PDF file. But because I used a certain form, they refused to accept the complaint.
Okay, what did they say? They were unable to view it? Is that why? Or
no, they just said they don't accept the form. They said the format and all that. I have to use their website, or they have to use the IOC website. But I know for a fact like that's not true. You know what I mean?
Okay, so what have they actually said then? They're unable to open the form, or that they're...
Basically, they said they need to go in a police station and all that, like, to file me complaint. He said, I'll tell you what it says from the beginning. It says, "Dear Mr. Mallon, please accept my apologies, but we do not accept the complaint submitted in the format and not on the form you have supplied. You can visit the Merseyside Police website to do your complaint. You can either go to the IOCP website, or you can visit a local police station." And he also stated, "I must reiterate that if you continue to use the same complaint form, we cannot deal with your complaint."
Okay, so yeah, I mean, but it'd be worth just taking that advice then. By all means, you can submit a complaint via our website if you want, or whichever format's easiest for you. But yeah, all complaints we receive do have to go to the Professional Standards Department of Force anyway, so if they're telling you that, then the best advice I can give you is just to do what they say, really.
Do you hear that, everyone? Yeah, it's far easier to do whatever the police tell you to do, even though what they're telling you is unlawful. But what more can you expect from the great mothership of lies, whose entire function is to excuse the police of all wrongdoing and pin it on the public? Here they are, proving how wedded they are to the police by treating them just like their wife. Yeah, you see, it's far easier to allow the little woman to just have her way, so as to avoid all the needless nagging. That way the IOPC can get back to their far more important job of bleeding the taxpayer dry while they busy themselves looking the other way. So I wrote to the IOPC and reminded them of their duty to ensure complaints are recorded by all forces. They wrote back, "We appreciate that you have taken the time to contact us to express your views. Your comments have been noted." Yeah, and we all know what that particular inbox looks like, don't we?